One of the very simple things that you can do to embellish the inside of a box is to put in a tray or dividers. Now this simple tray is made with the keyed miter joint, and the bottom panel is glued in place exactly the same way as this little box here that we made earlier, and it fits right into the box. Now you'll notice that the box has some special features to enable the tray to operate and slide inside. Before the box was assembled, I just made a saw kerf. On the opposite side, I did the same thing. These just slip in place, and once they're in place, you see this little cut right here. What that does, when the tray is in place, it locks these support strips in position so that they won't fall out unless you intend to take them out. Now you may wonder why a person would want to be able to remove these instead of gluing them in place. And the reason is I want to be able to add a divider inside here to divide this into separate compartments for jewelry. So that's going to be our next job. This is my stock for making dividers. I have some of this cut at 1 inch, and some of these pieces are 1 1/8 inches. If you look at the underside of this divider, you can see what it would look like if both pieces were done in from a single dimension stock. But now look at this side. You can see how that extra height actually hides that joint, so it's much more attractive in appearance. So these pieces are all cut to width and planed to 1/8 inch thickness and ready for me to cut to length to fit the inside of my box. As a matter of fact, if you're only wanting a single divider down the middle, you can do one from thicker stock like this, and you can see how that holds it very securely. So I'm going to take a measurement. I set my stop block, and now I'm going to cut 2 pieces. That should be good. Now these other parts, I cut them from the wider stock. Okay, when this tray fits in here, I want those parts to align evenly here. So I need to cut one more. These parts I'm going to divide evenly, front to back. So those can be spaced in symmetrically. This operation requires 2 stop blocks because being uncertain of the exact width of thickness of my stock, I want to be able to have just a little bit of clearance here at this end so I can gradually widen the cut, you see, by sliding this end to end to compensate either for the thickness of the stock or my choice of saw blade. I have to raise the height of the blade so that the blade is cutting halfway through the stock to form the overlap. So now I have the 3 pieces cut that go this direction. But now the other parts are going to take just a little more careful planning. So that first cut should be at the 2-inch mark and then widen slightly. I want to bump it very slightly. And then I have to also have that little bit of clearance there to widen the cut. It's very important that these parts be cut precisely to begin with. So using the sled for every step of the way can be very important. Fits that way anyway. The wider pieces all get routed on this uncut edge. The narrower pieces all get cut on the cut edge. Well, we can do a test fitting and we'll see if they actually fit inside. They're a little tight, but when they're sanded, they're going to be much better than that. So now I'm going to check the fit, and let's just see what it does. It's a little tight. It's supposed to be a little tight. And then when the little strips go in, it holds it in place. And now, if I have those in all the way, I can just slip this in, and the tray will lock those strips in place as well. And I did okay here in aligning those. They look pretty good.